man Biden's got a story to tell you. Old man Biden's got a tall tale. A real tall tale. Now, when I saw this story, I had to double check and triple check that it was real. I had to double check and triple check that it was authentic. Now, I don't know what's wrong with Biden's family, all right? But clearly, this is another lie that this president, our leader, the leader of the free world, is sharing, and it makes no sense whatsoever. But Biden claims cannibals ate his uncle in a World War II incident. Now, hold on, wait. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. This is a senile moment from a senile senior citizen. So stop laughing. Biden claims cannibals ate his uncle during World War II. It happened. It happened. Okay, so everyone stop laughing. Let me pull up this article here, okay? It's from RT. Before any of the liberals say, oh, how could you use RT? Don't worry. I have a video reference of him talking about this story. Of him talking about it. So, U.S. President Joe Biden, Joe 30330, has claimed that an uncle of his who went missing in the Pacific during the Second World War was eaten by cannibals. That's, hey, Biden, that's kind of racist there. What do you mean? What you saying there? So Second Lieutenant Ambrose Finnegan of the U.S. Army Air Forces, which, by the way, just a little history lesson, the Air Force was once a branch of the U.S. Army because my Uncle Bernie was part of the U.S. Army Air Force. So there you go. He was declared missing in May of 1944 after his light bomber crashed in the sea. He got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals at the time. All right, Billy, be sure to avoid Cannibal Island, where the cannibals will get you. Oh, and everyone, please avoid Dinosaur Island, Skull Island, Doom Island. And gentlemen, please calm yourselves, but don't fly over Boob Island, okay? They'll distract you. Those women with those big boobs will distract you. So apparently Joe Biden's uncle crash landed on Cannibal Island. Are there a lot of cannibals on Cannibal Island? Nah, it's just a name. I thought he said it was just a name. So Biden told this to reporters outside Air Force One in Scranton, Pennsylvania. They never recovered his body, but the government went back when I went down there and they checked and found some parts of the plane. Well, maybe, look, maybe the plane was shot down and his body was dragged down to the sea and the sharks ate him. I know that's horrific to say. Or some other deep sea creature had a little bit of Biden's uncle, right? Okay. So several hours later, after meeting with United Steelworker Union members in Pittsburgh, Biden told the same story. What does this have to do with steelworkers, Biden? He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found his body because there were a lot of cannibals. For real, Jack. In that part of the island, the 81-year-old Democrat said. Guys, Biden administration. Old man Biden's off his medicine again. According to the Pentagon Agency for Prisoners of War and Missing in Action, POW-MIA, Finnegan was never shot down. What? However, nor was it on reconnaissance mission as Biden claimed. The A-20 Havoc light bomber was on a courier run from Los Negros Island when its engines failed at low altitude. Sorry about that. Per the official account of the incident, the plane dropped into the sea off the north coast of New Guinea, and 2 out of the 3 crew members never made it out of the sinking wreck, which was never found. So parts of that plane, Biden, did someone show you a piece of metal and say, hey, this is part of the plane, and you just fell for it? The one man who survived was rescued by a passing boat. Biden has told many fictitious tales about his life in over a 50-year career in politics, most famously about getting arrested while trying to visit Nelson Mandela in South African prison. He has repeated one debunked story about an Amtrak conductor more than a dozen times. The cannibal clan by good old Uncle Ambrose, however, served as a springboard for attacking his predecessor and presumptive challenger, Donald Trump. In the campaign speech in Pittsburgh, Biden told a story about how Trump allegedly refused to honor fallen U.S. soldiers buried in France, calling them suckers and losers. The story first appeared in the Atlantic magazine in September 2020, referring to the events in November 2018 at the cemetery of the World War I armistice. Trump denied the accusation, calling it more made-up fake news given by discussing jealous failures in a disgraceful attempt to influence the 2020 election. Documents debunking the Atlantic's claims surfaced within days, but has not stopped Democrats from repeatedly bringing it up as if true. By the way, look, I know a lot of people don't like Donald Trump, but does it not surprise us that there would be a fake news article about him? But here's what's true. You have a president, Joe Biden, talking about his uncle being eaten by cannibals. Folks, let's have democracy in the chat. Type 1 for Kit. Biden is just pouring out his heart. He's telling a horrific war story. Why are you making fun of it? He lost his uncle. It doesn't matter how his uncle passed away. It's a thought that counts because we got to stop Trump. You awful man. Type 2, this is so freaking hilarious. I wonder what he's going to come up with next. Put 100 Bidens in a room and and you know what? You are going to get a story better than anything that Charles Dickens would ever write. I wonder how many 2s will get in the chat. I wonder. Put 100 Bidens in the room. They're all going to be eating ice cream, telling stories and tall tales of adventures, of triumph and tragedy. But look, hey, you don't have to believe me. Because you could say, well, Kit, video proof, or you're a lying liar who likes to lie. Okay, here you go.
And my uncle, they called him Ambrose, Brosey, they called him Bosey. My uncle Bosey was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there are a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Wow. Wow, you don't say. Cannibals. Mr. Biden, what about steel workers and union rights? Listen, Jack, I got to tell you about my uncle who got eaten by a cannibal. I'm going to get you. I'm a cannibal.
As reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea. And they never found the body because there are a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Grape in time. My fellow white boys think everyone wants to eat them. See, that's why I'm Italian, you know? I got that seasoning. Thanks, Pop. R.I.P. I got that good Italian sauce in so no one can eat me. Leave me alone. But hey, some of us got some seasoning in us, okay? Some of us got some seasoning in us.
You gotta just remember who we are. And I can't, well, when I left
He had a senile moment.
Scranton today, I wanted to go to the War Memorial that has the names of all the Scrantonians who died in World War II etched into a granite wall, because I wanted to see where my Uncle Bosie Ambrose J. Finnegan, where his name was etched. Back when D-Day occurred, and on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered. And my uncle, they called him Ambrose Bosie, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea, and they never found the body because there used to be a lot of cannibals for real in that part of New Guinea.
Here's him telling the same story again.
Back when D-Day occurred, and on Sunday, the next day, my mother's 4 brothers all went down to the recruiting station and joined the military. Every one of them volunteered. And my uncle, they called him Ambrose Bosie, they called him Bosie. My Uncle Bosie was a hell of an athlete, they tell me, when he was a kid. And he became an Army Air Corps before the Air Force came along. He flew those single-engine planes as reconnaissance over war zones. He got shot down in New Guinea. And
the plane had electrical failure. It was losing altitude, and it crashed. Nobody blew it out of the sky. This is a tall tale. But here he is again.
Ambrose Finnegan, they called him Uncle Bosie. He was shot down. He was an Army Air Corps before there was an Air Force. He flew single-engine planes, reconnaissance flights over New Guinea. He had volunteered because someone couldn't make it. He got shot down in an area where there were a lot of cannibals in New Guinea at the time. They never recovered his body, but the government went back when I went down there, and they checked and found parts of the plane and the like. And what I was thinking about when I was standing there was when Trump refused to go up to the memorial for veterans in Paris, and he said they're a bunch of suckers and losers.
The leader of the free world, folks. The president of, get this, these United States of America. Our sitting champion. Don't you just find it hilarious? Don't you just find it funny? This is our leader, our president, telling tall tales about cannibalism, about how his uncle died. I mean, he can't tell the truth to save his life. It is impossible. Telling the truth is anathema to Joe Biden. I really have to wonder, like what it's like being the medical personnel for Joe Biden. Like, they're probably going over a treasure trove of pills and shots just to make sure he's coherent enough to walk around or even put together a decent sentence. A moment of, yeah, my uncle was shot out of the sky, and then his plane crashed, and then cannibals came by and ate him up. That's equivalent to like a little kid in kindergarten telling a story like that. But hey, wait, maybe I shouldn't be so disrespectful to little kids in kindergarten, because at least they can put together a story. But this is such a tall tale. This is how Biden operates. He lied about his education. He has lied about his political career. He has lied about meeting Nelson Mandela. You know, never forget that Corn Pop story. Corn Pop was a bad dude. Where's Corn Pop to help out Joe Biden's uncle? He better not have been being a bad dude at the pool. Vote blue no matter who. That's your dog? That's your guy you want people to vote for? I wonder what Joe Biden will say next. Yeah, man, I used to fly an airplane and then a pterosaur attacked me. But then Godzilla came around and saved me, Jack. And then I called up the Avengers and I said, hey, do you got any ice cream up there? And the Avengers said to him, "Nah, Jack, that's the Justice League." Ah, the leader of the free world. That's our president.